Hello everybody and welcome back. We're back and we're kind of looking at the finalized Silverhand Enclave, as you can see. I decided to pull the actual banners from the bottom. I don't know, they just didn't look right. They didn't look, I thought these are fine to sort of mark the entrance. And as we get there, we're going to get to these sort of small little barriers there, and at the center of each one of those barriers is the silver hand banner. As for the stairs and stuff here, as you can see, I've changed some of the details of the trees. I've put down a well because sometimes you really got to think about like functional things in these maps, and they're likely to need water up here at some point. So we've got a well for them. We've got the supply area in this section with a couple of NPCs. And here I thought really sort of taking a page from Northshire, it would be good to have some sort of a merchant here. So I'll put a particular merchant on the left, and here on the right I have currently a bank. It's currently not a custom NPC. It's just a duplicated NPC from Stormwind. I could change that or leave it. It doesn't really matter. It's not a very it's not really breaking the immersion. It's not lore breaking either. So the back, as you can see now, has changed actually quite a bit. One of the things that I noticed when I was in Stormwind Port is that I liked how these light posts sort of stuck out as you saw down below, and that's kind of the feel that I wanted here. So we have some vegetation there down on the cliff, and some trees, I believe, down there. We decided to go around and place them at a certain area. I then realized that it was kind of weird to just break up the courtyard into different little pieces and having an exterior chapel. It just didn't work. And a friend of mine, he came on the server and he looked, and he sort of said the same thing, that it just wasn't working. So just stay with simple. And so I decided to, have a fountain, have a couple of benches. Of course, upstairs, the placement of the banners and all of that is, I took a look at the Scarlet Monastery on how their flags were sort of distributed. And that's what I came up with, and that's a pro tip right there for anyone who's wanting to start making sort of like a Blizz-like zone, or a zone that looks like it's been made by a Blizzard employee. Just go back to some of the areas and take a look at how they set up some of the areas, and take it from there. That's a good way of like designing around something from the very get-go. Okay, so what else do we have to show? Well, I've actually just placed in the game various sort of transport NPCs. So now at the stables of every town where the horses are, there are actual horses that you can jump on and ride. And you can still buy your own horse like you can in the regular game, don't get me wrong. But because I'm designing this to be sort of like a role-playing server, one of the things that most people who play on private role-playing servers take a lot of time to do things. So grinding away to get gold so that you can buy a mount or leveling up is not something necessarily that they want to do. So that's a nice little detail that you could put in, sort of adding more toys to facilitate the game itself. Here I remodified. I had a friend who was being a stickler about the area, who was telling me that that my weapons weren't being properly checked, because I've got some shields over there and I had some stuff over there. So now everything's neatly in, and that's how they would store them. And we've got some hay on the floor for the dueling area and the practice area. These dummies have been turned around because I realized they were flipped the other way around last time we saw them. We've got your shields and your swords here, banner for Lordaeron, and a banner for the Silver Hand. So this little training area is a good area, sort of like out of view for people to role play their training as paladins and whatnot. And that's pretty much it for this little mod. There's still the grass ground effects that I have to activate for this area for it to look fairly complete. And I'm sure that I could tweak it more if I wanted to make it look better. I don't think I'm going to, though. I think I'm okay with how it looks now, and the way I like working on projects is I'll make what I'm happy with at that time, and then if I move on to something and I realize that I've discovered a new way of doing something, then I'll go back to those maps and I'll try to fix them. But so far, I'm happy with it. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not really stressing about it. I think it's a good map. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you think it's a good map. Tell me if you have suggestions of something that I should change or how I could improve something. I'm always glad to hear these things from different people. So until next time, everybody, we'll be back with more WoW modding.